two halves. The worst bit was the man with a backwards head. Me, had a particularly bad sleep last night, and a particularly long shift that day. Sitting at the very back of the bus, heading home. It's a sunny afternoon. The bus is full of noisy people. Normally I dislike crowded buses, but today, I'm glad for the crowd. I'm nodding off. People watching is a good way to keep myself conscious. I people watch for a few minutes. Then a man gets on the bus, and I forget about everything else. I am utterly captivated by him. The man sits right at the front of the bus, in that weird alcove where two sets of seats are facing each other, two seats facing forwards, and two seats facing backwards. He sits in one of the forward-facing seats, with his back to me, and I am utterly entranced by his hair. It's so beautiful. Glossy. Matte. Long. Short. Wavy. Straight. Wait, what? I realize that my brain is kind of slipping, and I decide to focus on something else to regain my focus. I look down at the man's neck and shoulders instead. And I am fucking terrified. Because his body is facing me, but his head is facing away from me. His head is on backwards. And somehow I know, in the pit of my stomach, that this entire time that I was watching him, he was somehow watching me. I jolt violently with fright. The man is gone. The bus is empty. All is silent. The sun is shining and I shiver. My hands are shaking, and when I get off at my stop 2 minutes later, I tear up from fright, and keep looking behind me, in case the man with the black hair and backwards head is creeping up behind me. That night, I go straight to bed and sleep for 40 hours straight. When I wake up, I sleep some more. I dunno, it's such a lame story, but I still feel sick thinking about that man. There's a damn good reason sleep deprivation is considered torture. It really is. Me. 20, check. Horny retard. Always fascinated with stories of fairies and such. Some stories talk about young men finding a fairy wife and having half-fairy kids with them. Other stories talk about water fairies that either drown you or fuck you to death. Willing to take the risk. Find the areas with most sightings. Decide to try the area nearby Cosperk Castle. Find a hotel like 3 kilometers away. Wait for sun to come down, because fairies are out mostly during night. Pull out a shitty flashlight I bought from a Vietnamese shop. OMW to Cosperk Castle. It's full moon and I can kinda see well without the flashlight. I turn it off to not scare the fairies. After a few minutes I'm near the castle. See a small forest, so I decide to go there and try to find fairies to fuck. I notice a figure like 15 meters away. Full panic mode. I can't see much, but I'm sure they don't see me. All I can see is that it has fucking antlers. Horny overcomes fear and I shine my flashlight on the figure to see whether it is hot. It is not hot. It's an old ugly lady with deer antlers, now staring at me. Just fucking start running away. Go to bed. Jerk off to image of a fairy before falling asleep. Next day I cancel my stay at the hotel and just go home. I will try another location and I will make sure there aren't any deer ladies around this time. Spooky. Thanks for sharing, Anon. Personally never experienced sleep deprivation, but lately I've been experiencing psychosis from drugs. Scary stuff when you have to question your own reality. Me. Walking home one night. See 2 figures in the distance, illuminated by the street light. Both wearing striped shirts and black caps, standing on the curb, moving from foot to foot, like they're waiting for something. I'm about 50 meters away from both of them. Without noticing me, I watch both of them walk behind a tree, which is not surrounded by anything else besides a large fence. Starting to get a little nervous. Are these guys gonna jump me? Stroll a little faster. Ready to fight, flight at any given movement. Cautiously approach tree. Fully convinced someone is about to jump me. Walking past tree. Nobody in sight. What? Check behind tree. Nothing. If they were to have jumped the fence I would have seen them. If they were to have moved away from the tree I would have seen them. Continue. Walk home, skittish as fuck. Every shadow scares me. Anything I catch a glimpse of in the corner of my eye makes me jump. Made it home safely, have been questioning my sanity ever since. Yup, this is what I did. Hence my whole 3D 5D spiel earlier. If you understand it, you can integrate it and know how 5D, imagination, commands 3D, reality. But if you merge 3D and 4D, time, into 5D, it manifests a lot faster as they are merged during the process. It's like if there's 3 people and they are 10 miles away from each other. Jen, greater than Hannah, greater than Chad. Jen, imagination, wants to give something to Chad, reality. Jen has to give it to Hannah, time, bridge of incidents, to give it to Chad. But if you merge them, now Jen, Hannah and Chad are all holding hands in a triangle. Now Jen can just give Chad her love letter herself. Ergo, 5D, greater than 3D, skipping time completely. At least that's my understanding of it. And it worked instantly, first time. Want another tip? Be me. Sprained ankle badly a year ago, sprained on both sides, had to call doctor out. Told me it would take 6 weeks of elevating it before I can walk on it without immense pain. Read up on sprained ankles, read it good, for some things. Find out about peptides. Discover BPC 157 and TB 500. Heals tendons and tissue fast. What do? Go into light sats. Imagine injecting BPC 157 and TB 500 into myself out of peptide container. Do this every day. 5 days later I was walking around on my semi-healed sprained ankle. Doctor said 6 weeks until I'd be able to walk, but I did it in 5 days. Now sure, a true never would just fix it, my foot is perfect style. I tried that when COVID happened. I literally just denied it existed, but got it anyway. Nearly died. Actually think I did die and woke up in a neighboring dimension, a bit like how Neville says when you actually die you wake up in a younger version of yourself until the promise. Since then I made and administered my own vaccine, in my imagination. Not been sick since. Be me. Recruit in the army. It is the weekend, and I'm tasked with watching over our quarters for 24 hours. Have to keep all doors open so the patrolling sergeant can come inside and check the armory. It is around 7 p.m. when another guy comes in. Never explains why he's there, does nothing at all except talk to me for like 3 hours. This dude is usually a fucking retard who can't count to 10, but now he's in a deep philosophical debate with me like he's fucking Plato or something. After like 3 hours he suddenly cuts the conversation and simply leaves without saying a thing. Weird, but nothing that scared me or set me off. Come Monday I ask him what that was all about. He looks at me strangely, says he wasn't there. Shows me pictures of him at dinner with his girlfriend. We go to the guard post and check the logbook. He was never there. I had a 3-hour conversation with a skinwalker or doppelganger or something else. Nobody ever wanted to do the job ever again, which is not helped by the fact that we were forced to do it, though nothing like that happened to anybody else, even though everybody was on edge. I had plenty of paranormal shit happen to me in that place. Be me in college. Deliver pizzas for side money. Flying down a side street. Coming up to an alley with fences on both sides all the way to the street. Suddenly engine belt squeals insanely loud. Never happened before. Hear tires sliding. Car was coming out of alley at crazy speed. They 100% would have smashed into me at a high speed. The only reason they didn't was that they heard the squeal because their window was down. Belt never squeals again. Okay, I'll green text. Be me. Around 1 month of semen retention, not my first streak. Normally before getting into the shower I touch my dick until it gets hard, to make sure everything is flowing down there. Also gives a boost for the cold shower. Today start to visualize fucking my ex and masturbating a little more realistically and more than usual, normal sex rhythm. Strong smell of something fills up the bathroom. Catch myself losing control and snap out of it. Get into the shower and feel the burning sensation on the inside of my thigh, knee when the water touches it. Clear fresh scratches. I'd quit to think. Also last night I had a vivid dream of me pulling a long string from my throat and a lot of debris came attached to it. Captcha, GHFNXT. The first one. Be me. First person view. Now, that's rare, let's see what happens. Be in some kind of forest following this elfic looking guy, who is showing me around. There is a whole crowd of people following us, commenting on what we were doing, and how it was finally the time for me to learn something. The guy stops and says that that place should be good. Then, he starts to teach me how to move some kind of creature at my will, then says that it's my turn. The creature itself is some kind of meat lump, pretty deformed with one big eye, a mouth that occupies most of its torso, and its limbs were randomly attached to it, covered in brown reddish fur, kind of like a squirrel. In retrospective it was really creepy, but at the moment I found it kind of cute even. I have one of those in my shoulders before I even realized it. I possess the creature, basically changing to its paw, and start running around, jumping from branch to branch, pretty keen. If I must say it, it felt pretty good. The guy starts to scream no, not like that. I return to my body and ask him what does he mean. He looks panicked, sweating a lot, the crowd looks the same. Be me. 11 years old. Routinely have very vivid dreams. Starting to fall asleep. Get this strange perspective shift, look down and see my own body lying in bed, get this incredibly odd sensation of floating. Float through my bedroom wall into the hallway. Immediately see a smoky black mass, like black fog, floating through the air. The moment I see it, it bolts at me like it's locked on target. Feel a sensation of intense pulling, and I am rapidly sucked right back into my body. To this day I have no clue if I astrally projected or if it was a dream, but it still freaks me the fuck out.